Hello, welcome to 30k channel. I'm your host David.
And I'm Boris.
And we are back for another game of Zone Mortalis. I cannot get enough of this board.
It's so cool.
I love it. Boris, we have got a wild game today.
Yeah, it's Find the Prisoner. Some sort of strange sort of hide and seek set in the 31st millennium. Essentially, this is tied into the last game we did, which was Death Guard, Iron Hands, and a little bit of Mechanicum. So whilst that attack is going on the surface, and the second Death Guard force has been sent to rescue a prisoner, a little herald here, who will be our sort of movable objective for the game. And there are 8 cells in this sort of Mechanicum containment facility, and the only objective is to hold the prisoner by the end of the game. So the Death Guard are trying to get him back, and Mechanicum are trying to hold on to him. Yes. We've kind of pitched this that the Mechanicum have managed to capture him. He's got some vital information about the attack going on beforehand, and the Death Guard are trying to get him back before he leaks this information. He probably won't be given tender care and love by the Death Guard if he gets retrieved, so he's not in for a good end either way. No. But that's how it is.
We'll give it a whirl. Last night I was up late working, and I sent Boris this map that I drew. I went, let's do that. So here we are. So it's going to be really interesting. We're going to use some blip tokens because Boris won't know where his prisoner is.
Yep.
8 cells, 4 will have Thalax in, 2 will be empty, 3 will be empty, and 1 will have the prisoner in. And essentially, Boris will need to have a look in each room to find out what's happening. And if there's some Thalax behind there, he's got to fight them. If not, he can take his guy and hang on to him for the rest of the turn. So in each room there are 3 Thalax with heavy chain blades. That's all the upgrades they've got, just lightning gun and standard. And then there are 2 forces that are the official forces for the Mechanicum. 1 squad of 4 Thalax, 1 squad of 5, 1 multi-melter in each squad. 1 will be on the board to begin with, and the other one will come on outflanking as per normal Zone Mortalis rules. The description for this game and all the made-up wild rules that I made up last night are in the description below. So a caveat to begin with, this is pure fun.
Yeah, we're not abiding by any sort of organisation or legal army lists. So this is just for fun and narrative, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, the Thalax have no HQ because we rationalise that they're down there recharging. There's a prisoner next door. It doesn't matter what goes. Some have got crates and barrels in, some have got Thalax in, some have got prisoners in. It's just a storage area, right?
They're acting on automation.
They are. They're just going to come to life and mince the Death Guard, fingers crossed. Both forces are at 1060 exactly, so that worked out really nicely. Are there any wild stuff that we need to just cover very quickly? Auto lookout Sir roll, so we can't kill the character for the Death Guard. So, for example, if he's 3 Marines back and those 3 Marines die, he will ultimately pass lookout set and it will go on to the next Marine or whatever behind.
Yeah, he's effectively just a movable objective token, so I can pop him in my squad and run with him, but he can't fight, he has no stats, he's just an objective marker. If by the end of the game the Death Guard hold him, they win.
Yes.
If it's contested, like a Dominion objective, it's a draw, and if the Death Guard don't hold him, it's a loss for the Death Guard, or a win for the Mechanicum, rather.
Yes. One final thing. When the prisoner has been discovered by the Death Guard, the rest of the doors that haven't been discovered that have Thalax behind them will come straight up, and they're in the Mechanicum's next turn, and then they will be able to move, shoot, charge, whatever they wish to do. For your benefit at home, here is the board where everything is placed. So you can see a photograph there where all 4 units of Thalax are based, the 3 empty rooms and 1 with a character, and they have all been rolled for randomly with a D10, re-rolling numbers 9 and 10 and then just allocating. So we've done the Thalax first, then the empty rooms, then lastly the character. So it's nice and easy.
Yep.
Nothing crazy. Boris does not know where they are. We want to keep it that way.
Yep.
It's going to be a great surprise when he gets to a door. We open it up, reveal the blip counter, and then he'll find out what's behind the door. So that's quite cool.
It's going to be a bit like the encounter mission in the regular Zone Mortalis mission
Yeah.
pack. There's no Cold in the Void. It's just the base Zone Mortalis rule sets, and no Warlord traits either side, because the Death Guard also don't really have. They have a Mora tap, but he can't be an HQ. Again, we're not really abiding by the Force Org, so chose not to give him a Warlord trait. Less for us to remember. I think it's been a long day already for both of us. It's an evening game, so.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It is just for fun, so please remember that. And I'm really looking forward to get stuck into this. We will go have a look at both the lists, and then we go straight into Death Guard turn 1.
Yeah, Death Guard go first. No seize the initiative.
All right, we'll see you in a sec.
Leading the rescue force is a Moritat console. He's been upgraded to have Artifice Armor, a Jump Pack, a Refractor Field, and has upgraded to have 2 Plasma Pistols. 5 Death Shroud Terminators equipped in Tartarus Terminator armor. They have their standard loadout of Power Scythes and Hand Flamers. The only elite choice for the Death Guard is a 10-man Destroyer squad. They've been upgraded to have jump packs for the entire squad, 2 missile launchers with Suspensor Webs and Rad missiles. The Sergeant has been given Artificer armor, Phosphex bombs, and a Power Axe. The first of 2 troops choices is a 10-man tactical squad, led by a Sergeant who has been upgraded to have Artificer armor and a Power Axe. The entire squad has been given additional close combat weapons, as well as 1 Vexilla and 1 Nuncio box. The second troops choice is another tactical squad outfitted identically, other than the Sergeant who has a Power Fist.
Defending the containment facility is a whole host of Thalax warriors. A squad of 3 Thalax, armed with heavy chain blades, will be positioned in 4 of the rooms. There are then 2 outflanking cohorts. One has 4 Thalax, a multi-melter, and heavy chain blade, and the other has 5 Thalax, heavy chain blades, and multi-melter. There is no HQ for the Force.
Death Guard and Mechanicum turn 1 combined. The Death Guard spent the entire turn moving and running. The Destroyers boosted 12, taking dangerous terrain checks. 2 Destroyers did take fail the test, so they had to take armor saves, but luckily both were passed. They did a run move, however they only rolled a 1. The Death Guard rule intractable means they have -1 to their runs, and they're in hardened armor, which is also -1, so they're doubly going nowhere. The 2 tactical squads rolled 4 and 2 inches respectively, accounting for -1, and the Death Shroud push forward rolled a mighty 5, down to 4, so push forward 10 inches, just lining up to engage those Thalax.
The Mechanicum didn't do so well. They, although they were 6 inches onto the board, they moved 6, ran 4 inches, and then only got 2 inches on their thrust move. So they're only about halfway through near the second lot of holding cells, but there is a door between them and the Death Shroud. We will go on to turn 2.
Death Guard turn 2 movement, closing the distance now. The Death Shroud have powered through that door, opening it, and are going to bring their hand flamers to bear against those Thalax. Both tactical squads just moved, no running. We're going to see if we can open up some bolt gun shots into the middle of the map, and we're going to head down either corridor. The Destroyers use their jump packs again. Unfortunately lost 1 Destroyer to dangerous terrain. 2 were rolled, only 1 passed his armor save. Opened the first door they could get in contact with and revealed 3 Thalax, so now we have to deal with that squad. Death Guard turn 2 shooting phase. We're going to open up with the Destroyer squad against the Thalax that have been newly revealed. Starting with the missile launcher, we're going to see if we can do some rad damage before we open up with the bolt pistols. Fired. Bad scatter meant 11-inch scatter, but thankfully it went straight back into the wall just behind the Thalax. It still clipped 1, so it is a fleshbane weapon, so we are wounding on 2s. Yeah, that's a wound on a 6. AP3, so there is no armor save.
6 up Feel No Pain was failed, so takes a wound.
Takes a single wound, so that back left model has taken -1 toughness to the rad phase, which is great for us. And then we have 5 bolt pistols in range, and we'll just fire at the lead Thalax. Hitting on 3 to start, 3 hits, not too bad. Wounding on 5, strength 4, toughness 5, oops. 3 2s, so no wounds whatsoever. Next up we have the Death Shroud. They're going to fire with their hand flamers at the Thalax group in front of them. Rolled the Gets Hot from the chem munitions already. The front Death Shroud did fail, but passed us to our armor save. The front 2 could fire within range, so we have 4 hits on the Thalax unit. They are strength 3, but thanks to having Shred already, from Chem Munitions, they go up to strength 4. Still wounding on 5s, but we do have shred because templates have shred and zone mortalis. So 5s with shred. 2 wounds already, that's pretty good. And reroll. Nope, so 2 wounds onto the squad.
All right, so we go to 4 up armor, 1 pass, 1 failed, and 6 up, feel no pain. That is failed, and one of those Thalax takes a wound.
Next up, we're going to fire both tactical squads at the group of 5 Thalax. There's no point running to push on, so we're going to see if we can do a couple of wounds. After measuring line of sight, we have 13 bolt gunshots that can ring out. So hitting on 3s, that's pretty good. Only 3 miss, and then we need that again for wounding. We are wounding on 5s. Not so great. A single wound.
All right, 4 up armor. Pass, that's great news.
Death Guard turn to assault phase, and we're going to charge with the destroyer squad that shot at the Thalax earlier. We first have to suffer some overwatch.
All right, reactionary fire test. We need a 2 or under, so that is brilliant news. Or 3 or under, rather. 3 lightning guns, hit on 3s. That is a cocked dice, we'll take that. It's a fail anyway. Strength 7, shred and rending. Oh, just 2 wounds there.
All right, 3 up armor saves. 1 fails, so that front marine does die, increasing our charge distance, which isn't great, but we'll see what we can do. 2d6, 7, yeah, I think we should be in comfortably. Charging in, the destroyers swung 25 times with plenty of attacks. They rolled amazingly well, hitting with 20 out of 25 hits, and we are now wounding on 4s. The entire squad has rad grenades, so we're dropping those Thalax down to toughness 4. So we've got 16 here, wounding on 4s. Not as great as their hits, but still pretty good. 4, 5, 9 wounds so far, and then we need 4 more. 10, 11, 12 wounds onto the Thalax.
All right, it's going to be a bit tricky, isn't it? So 3, 6, 9. I'll roll 3 more, so we need 4 up armors to begin with. That is pretty good. We'll take that. And then 6 ups. So far 4 wounds lost, and then we need 3 more. 4s. And 1 more. And that's a fail. So 5 wounds in total. That'll kill 1 Thalax and leave 1 on 1 wound. Correction, the Thalax had 1 wound left, had already taken a wound from the rad missile, and he is dead also, leaving 1 Thalax. The lone Thalax will attack back. He has 2 attacks requiring 4s. That's 2 hits. We are strength 7 with heavy chain blades, and that is 1 wound.
So 3 up armor save, passed.
Hot damn.
Last to strike is the Sergeant swinging with his power axe. A mighty 5 attacks on the charge. We are hitting on 3s. Oh, that's really good. There we go. And then the rad grenades drop that Thalax to toughness 4. We bump up +1 strength with the power axe, so we are actually wounding on 3s. There we go. Classic. So a single wound goes through the armor save. You see, feel no pain.
All right, 6 up. Come on. No, he does fail. So we do lose the combat, but we are stubborn on leadership 8. The Thalax would love to pass this. Oh, and that is a 6. Great stuff.
Next up, we have the Death Shroud. They're going to attempt a 6-inch charge into the group of 5 Thalax and see if we can cut them down. However, again, we have some Overwatch to suffer.
All right, initiative 2 or under. Okay, we do fail this time, so we will be snap shooting. We'll start with a multi-melter hitting on a 6. Oh, that would have been nice. And now we've got 4 lightning guns requiring 6s. That is a cocked dice. We'll take that. And that is nothing.
All right, managed to survive unscathed there. We have a 6-inch charge. Let's see if we can do it. Yes, comfortably, just on a 7. Piling in the Death Shroud strike first. We are -1 initiative with that power scythe, but that still puts us ahead of the Thalax. Initiative 3, swinging in with our scythes. We've counted it up, and there are 15 attacks coming from the entire squad. We are hitting on 3s. We're weapon skill 4. Pretty good. We miss with 4, so that is 11 hits. And then with the +1 strength, we are wounding on 4s. Yeah, oh, pretty good actually. Miss with a, failed to wound with another 3, so it's 8 wounds at AP2.
All right, I had 9 wounds ready to go, but we've got 8, so we need 6 ups on their feel no pain, being AP2. And that is none failed, so that is 1 Thalax dead, 2.5. Not good. The Thalax attack back with 6 attacks requiring 4s at initiative 2. Oh, there's only 2. That's not good. We are strength 7 thanks to chain blades, requiring 2s. There you go. 2 good wounds.
There we are. 2 up armor saves.
1.
Double 1. My gosh. So 1 Terminator does die, unfortunately.
The Thalax have lost the combat, but they are stubborn on leadership 8. So a quick roll. Would love them to stay in combat. Oh, and there is a 4. Great stuff.
End of Death Guard turn 2. Not bad overall. We won both our combats, but didn't manage to break either unit of Thalax, so we are stuck in combat. That does mean, however, if any more turn up, we won't be able to be shot at. Those tactical squads in the middle will continue to push on. We're holding a good amount of the board, but well aware there are Thalax reinforcements rapidly inbound.
Mechanicum turn 2, and reserves have turned up on this side of the board. Where the other unit turned up. So not too bad. Only 4 Thalax in this cohort this time. And they will hopefully bolster those Death Shrouds should they make it out of combat. Other than that, they are not going to run, and they are not going to shoot, and they're not going to use their thrust move, and we will go straight into combat. Mechanicum turn to assault phase, and we go in with the Death Shroud and the Thalax. The Death Shroud are at initiative 3.
So we strike first. Only 8 attacks hitting in now, but we are hitting on 3s. Still not too bad. 3 miss, so 5 hits, and we are wounding on 4s. Not too great. Only 2 wounds, but they are AP2.
Alright, so we have 1 Thalax, 1 remaining, so we'll have a go first. So he does pass, brilliant. And the second fails, so there's 2 Thalax remaining. We'll go straight into their attacks. 4 attacks requiring 4s. Not bad, we'll take that. Strength 7, 2s to wound. 1.
Single wound. 2 up armor save. Come on. There we go. We passed it this time.
Oh, I love it. So they are stubborn and require 8 or under. We need them to hold. They do on a 3. Great news. Moving on to the second combat, the Destroyers in their initiative absolutely butchered that Thalax just as he was emerging from his stasis slumber there. He was rudely awakened and chopped to death. So the Destroyers have hacked through and consolidated 1 inch. That is the end of the turn for the Mechanicum. Not a lot going on, but the Death Guard captor has not been discovered, and time is ticking.
Death Guard turn 3 movement started with the Destroyers, using their jump packs yet again to get right to the end of the board. Rolled all our dangerous terrain checks, and only the Moritat failed, but was saved by his artificer armor. The Moritat then detached from the squad so they could open 2 doors at once. The first door that the Destroyers opened was empty. The door that the Moritat then opened contained another 3 Thalax. So we're going to turn around and see if we can destroy a few there. The tactical squads continued their push on. The first squad with the sergeant with the power axe ran, rolled a mighty 2, so pushed on. And the other squad moved up. We decided not to run, as we might be able to get a couple of bolt gun shots off at the Thalax newly emerged, and hope that the Death Shroud can chop their way through that Thalax squad holding them up. Death Guard turn 3 shooting started with the Destroyers. Both those missile launchers with the rad missiles turned around and fired into that cell. Tight confines meant we hit 5 times and rolled per Thalax. Every single Thalax took wounds, which was great. The lead Thalax took 1, and the 2 behind him took 2 wounds apiece. That flashbane really kicking in. More importantly, the entire squad is now -1 toughness for the rest of the game. Next to fire, the Moritat is going to open up with his plasma pistols in chain fire. He's a lot better shooting than in combat, so we'll see if we can kill a few Thalax here. We have 6 shots with each pistol and roll until 1 is rolled, in which case we have some get hot to work out. So starting with the first pistol, it's a hit, immediately a 1, so that's a single hit, going great. And then the second pistol, hit, a hit. Okay, this is going a little bit better. 4 hits, 5 hits, 6 hits. Okay, so that's 7 in total, not too bad. Let's work out the gets hot, 2 up armor save. So he does a wound to himself. He has 1 remaining, and then we have the 7 wounds against the Thalax, wounding on 2s. Not bad. So that is 6 wounds that cut straight through their armor save.
All right, this could be enough to wipe the entire squad out. There's only 4 wounds remaining in that squad, so let's roll some 6s. Oh, that squad has been annihilated by the Moritat.
Last to fire in the shooting phase, we have the tactical squad will fire through that combat and see if they can do a wound to the newly arrived Thalax. We have 6 bolt guns in range, hitting on 3s. Okay, it's a pretty good start. Need that again for the wounds. Wounding on 5s. Used up all our luck on the first roll, not a single wound. Death Guard turn 3, combat straight into the melee between the Death Shroud and the 2 remaining Thalax. Striking first, initiative 3. We have 8 attacks from the Death Shroud, hitting on 3s. That's pretty great. That's what we need. Need this again. Come on, 4s to wound. Oh my word, it's the wounds we seem to fail at. It's a single wound.
All right, 6 up, feel no pain. Come on. No, that is a fail, so one of those Thalax will take a wound. We have 4 attacks back, requiring 4s. That's all right. We need the double 6 next. So strength 7, 2 wounds. Come on, pray for that double 1.
2 up armor saves. The 1. So 1 wound does go through.
Take 1.
End of turn 3 for Death Guard. Unfortunate that we didn't sweep those Thalax. It was a drawn combat in the end. However, it does mean we are locked in and can't get shot by the other Thalax units. Not too bad. Across the rest of the board, we're making good progress. The Destroyers and the Moritat, despite losing a wound, did a really good job, and we've nearly cleared that entire side of the board. We just need to get rid of this bottleneck, and we can push down the other flank.
Mechanicum, turn 3, movement and shooting. This Thalax squad is the only remaining squad on the board that can shoot. They've moved forward 6, and they will shoot through the combat into the attack marines behind. So first of all, we'll start with the lightning guns, requiring 3s. Oh. Okay, it's good. That's good. With strength 7, shred and rending. We do get a rend and 2 wounds. So -2 cover for the Jin sight. So that'll kill attack marine, and we are armor saves.
2 3 up armor saves. Both passed.
Nice. All right, we'll go straight on to the multi-melter. 3s. Come on. That is a 2. And now we'll go straight into combat. Mechanicum turn 3 assault phase. Again, Death Shroud versus the Thalax. Can they hold on for another turn? We'll find out.
All right, starting with the Death Shroud at initiative 3. 8 attacks again, hitting on 3s. Amazingly, that's a cocked dice. We'll reroll that one. That is a hit. So only drop 2. We need 4s to wound. Let's see if we can do a bit better than last time. Oh my word, exactly the same again. So a single wound.
All right, we need a 6 up. Come on. Okay, we don't. That's fine. Thalax will take a wound. But now we've got 4 attacks in return, hitting on 4s. Oh, not too bad. Bit average. That'll do. 2s to wound, strength 7. It's a double 1. Not good. They are stubborn. They lose the combat. Leadership 8. And they pass on an 8. What an amazing combat. At the end of turn 3, this Thalax squad has thrust forward about 3 or 4 inches. They rolled a 7 on their thrust move, but they won't get charged the next turn. So we'll see what the Death Guard can bring.
Death Guard turn 4 movement started with the Destroyers. The Moritat rejoined the squad, and they all used their jump packs to boost down and open the 4th door on that flank, revealing nothing. So that flank is now completely clear. Dangerous terrain checks. We suffered 2 from the Destroyer squad, passed both thankfully, and the Moritat also failed 1 on his last wound, but managed to pass his armor save. The 2 tactical squads both pushed up. The one tucked in right behind the Death Shroud and will open fire at those Thalax. The second one about faced as they were too slow to be of any use, and are going to head towards the ongoing combat. Death Guard turn 4 shooting phase. The Destroyers ran a mighty 4 inches, just closing the gap. Next, both tactical squads opened up on the Thalax behind the Thalax in combat. Altogether, it was 24 shots, with the front squad rapid firing and the back squad adding a few more shots. Out of those, 16 hits. So we now have 16 hits, 5s to wound with strength 4 toughness 5. That is not great, really not great. Only 4 wounds, but that's better than nothing.
Wow, all right. So 4 up armors. Not so good. And 6 up feel no pain. No. So 3 wounds lost, and that lead Thalax has fallen.
Death Guard turn 4 assault phase straight into the ongoing combat between the Death Shroud and that Thalax unit. See if we can do a bit better than the last 2 turns. 8 attacks going back, hitting on 3s. Not bad again. That's 3 miss, 5 hits, 4s to wounds. Come on. A little better. 2 wounds. It's better than 1. Straight through the armor save.
All right, so we need to do at least 1 for no pain so we can get maximum attacks back. So 6s. Oh, 5 and 5. Boo. So 1 Thalax is dead. and we will attack back with 2 attacks. 1 hit. Oh, this is it, isn't it? 2s to wound. That is a wound.
2 up armor save. Classic.
Wow.
So 1 had already taken a wound, so that is 1 Death Shroud fallen.
Okay, and so the Thalax do lose. They are stubborn, so we need a 8 or under, and they pass on a 4. They are monsters.
End of Death Guard round 4. Not bad overall. We did a wound to that, or killed a model in the Thalax squad approaching, reduced that Thalax in combat with us down to 1 model. Would have been great to sweep them and finish them off, but we are making a strong play pushing for this end of the board. We just need to hope we can find our prisoner.
Thalax turn 4, and the Thalax have made the decision to charge into combat with the Death Shroud. It might be a bit of a suicide mission, but let's remember we've got 1 squad of Thalax somewhere in these 4 little cells here, and the Death Shroud are struggling to get through the toughness and wounds of those Thalax. So it was a good decision to charge them in. The Death Shroud will attack first at initiative 3.
Striking initiative 3, all the attacks are going to go into trying to finish off that lone Thalax in a squad on his own. 6 attacks now, having lost 1, hitting on 3s. Again, really good. And now we need wounding on 4s. Let's see if we can do well this time. There we go, finally going a bit better. 3 wounds.
We need 1 6 in this. Oh, which we fail. All right, so that does kill that Thalax, but we have 9 attacks coming in from those fresh Thalax. Striking initiative 2, we've got 9 attacks. This is a good chance to pull at least 2 of those Terminators down. If possible, we require 4s. Okay, not too bad. We dropped 3. We are strength 7, toughness 4, 2s required. Classic on the double 1 there. So there is 4 wounds into those Death Shrouds.
All right, 2 up armor saves. We're quite notorious for failing these. Let's see what we can do. Okay, we fail 1, not too bad. 1 takes a wound.
All right, but we do lose by 2, so we need a leadership test. We are stubborn on an 8. Don't let us down. Oh, look at that with a 6.
Death Guard turn 5, movement and shooting, potentially last turn of the game, so we really need to get a move on here. The Destroyers have learned their lesson. They haven't jumped packed, they've just run a mighty 7 overall. The Tactical Squad behind, or in front of them, pushed up 6, and the squad just behind the Death Shroud also moved up 6. Not a lot we can do. It's quite frustrating being trapped exactly there as we are so close to opening 2 doors. We really need to cut down these Thalax, or at least push them back enough to get open these doors. Death Guard turn 5, combat straight into the melee between the Death Shroud and yet another unit of Thalax. I spent all game hacking these apart. 6 attacks, swinging at initiative 3, 3's to hit. Oh, that's really not great. 3 hits, not too bad. We need to get a good amount of wounds, however, winning on 4s. 2 wounds, it could be enough.
6 ups. Oh, pass 1, fail 1, so only take 1 wound. We attack back at initiative 2 with 6 attacks, hitting on 4s. Not bad, that's half, I guess. 2s to wound. That is 3 wounds.
There we go. 3 2-up armor saves. Fail 1 of these, and a Death Shroud does die. There we go. Consistently fail. So the front Death Shroud does die, and that is a drawn combat with 1 wound done apiece.
Mechanicum turn 5, assault phase, and yet again we're in combat with Thalax and Death Shroud. The Death Shroud are to strike first.
Here we go. Let's see if we can do it. 4 attacks hitting on 3s. There we go. 3 hits. Wounding on 4s. 2 wounds. That's not too bad.
Oh, all right. Okay. So let's have a look at this roll. See if we can get 6 ups. No, 2 failed. So that is 1 Thalax killed because 1 was on 2 wounds already. 1 wound already, and now we've got 4 attacks back into the Shroud. Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? 3 hits, 2s to wound. Oh, only 2 wounds.
Here we go. 2 up armor saves. See if what we can do. Finally, we passed both. So both passed.
The Thalax have lost the combat, but they are stubborn on leadership 8. Oh no, they have lost the combat. They've failed the leadership test, so they will get swept by the Terminators, maybe. And they are -1 to their sweep due to being intractable. Boris, let's have a roll off. 3, so 5 total.
So Death Guard roll 6. Oh. Even with the -1, that is a 7. And they managed to sweep those Thalax finally.
Hot diggity dog, how far do they go in consolation?
Consolidate a mighty 5 inches, not bad at all.
Finally, the Thalax have fallen to the Death Shroud. A bit of a sad time there, but it had to happen eventually. Now, at this stage, there are no models left on the board. However, somewhere in one of these 4 little bunkers here, or 4 little cells, there are 6 Thalax lurking around. So the Death Guard will press on to see if they can find their fallen comrade.
Death Guard turn 6 movement, and we finally cleared that troublesome blockage of Thalax, moved up and opened 2 doors. The Death Shroud have uncovered the prisoner, which is really great news for us. They have got their man and they're going to escort him out. The tactical squad at the same time opened up the other door. However, due to the prisoner being discovered, all the doors remaining in the facility opened, which means 6 Thalax did come onto the board, or appear on the board, as it were. And we now have to deal with them or make sure they don't cause any more issues. Other than that, the 2nd Tactical Squad moved up to support their fellow one, and the destroyers still have learned their lesson and just moved 6 rather than using their jump packs. Death Guard turns 6 shooting, and we now have a plan. We need to get into action. Starting with the Death Shroud, they roll to run rather than head out. We decided to move and block the entrance to that prisoner. It does work like a Dominion objective, so 3 inches is the kind of the capture zone, as it were. If the Thalax can get within 3, they can test it, and we are not able to win. The 2nd Tactical Squad ran 5, just tucking themselves in behind the tactical squad that opened the door and are now facing down Thalax. Again, see if we can get further down that corridor and block it from the Thalax further down the corridor. And finally, the destroyers of the Moritat ran 2 inches thanks to their hardened armor. Next up, some actual shooting in the shooting phase. 6 Marines from that tactical squad are going to target the Thalax with their bolt pistols with an eye to charge later. So we'll fire first. That is a cock dice. So that is 5 hits, that's pretty good. 5s to wound. Not bad, 2 6s, so 2 wounds.
Alright, 4 up armors, fail, 6 up, feel no pain. 2 wounds lost on that lead Thalax.
Turn 6, Death Guard Assault. Pretty good, taking off a couple of wounds in that shooting phase. We're now going to charge those Thalax. Again, we have to face the Overwatch.
Alright, reaction fire test, 2 or under. We pass. This is great stuff. So we get 3 shots with lightning guns, 3s to hit, 2 hits, strength 7, shred and rending, 2s to wounds. That is 2 wounds.
Okay, 2 3-up armor saves from the Marines in the front. 1 pass, 1 fails, so 1 Marine does die.
Nice.
Next, we go on to the charge. It'll be a short 3-inch charge. I only just make it in with a 4, but we do make it in. Striking in at initiative 4, the Death Guard Marines struck out with 21 attacks with their additional close combat weapons and landed 17 hits. Really good. We now are on to the slightly more difficult 5s to wound. So we have 16 dice here. That's looking pretty good already. We'll reroll 1 for the 17th.
Nice.
Okay, so we have 3, 6, 9, 10 wounds. That's really good news.
Jeez. Alright, so we need 4 up armor saves to begin with. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Pass 5, I think it is. 2, 4, 5, yep. And 6s, no. So the lead Thalax is dead. He lost 2 wounds already. And a 2nd Thalax is dead. So we'll go straight on to the return attacks. Just 2 attacks, hitting on 4s. Strength 7, 2s to wound. Oh god, that's a double 6. Jeez. All right, 3 up armors.
All right, 1 at a time until we get to the sergeant. Actually, so we'll take the first one, 3 up, fail. We then on to the sergeant with his artificer armor. We'd like to keep him alive with a power fist. So look out, sir. Passed, and then on to a 3 up armor save again. Passed. So 1 Marine does die. And then we'll go straight on to the sergeant. He's striking back with his power fist. 3 attacks on the charge, hitting on 3s. Fairly classic from the Space Marines. 2s to wound with strength 8. That is a wound.
Feel no pain, 6 up, fail, and that Thalax has 1 wound remaining. The Thalax have lost the combat. They are stubborn. We've been here before. Can we tie them up again? Let's have a look. We can on a 6. Lovely stuff.
End of turn 6 for Death Guard, finally making good progress. That combat went really well, and we pushed those Thalax right back into their cell. They hopefully shouldn't be able to threaten us. The Death Shroud is standing guard over their prisoner, and we just have to hope that the Thalax can't get close enough to charge in and tie us up and draw the combat. We'll see what happens.
Mechanicum turn 6. This could be potentially the last turn of the game, and there is a major decision to make now for the Thalax. If they can get to that door frame where the Nuncio Vox Marine is, they will, if they stay alive, possibly in the next turn, they will contest the objective and the game will be a draw. However, if they do not, and they lose a Thalax, they will lose the game. So it's really tricky. So do the Thalax charge the TAC Marine, but then get charged by the Death Shroud, but then we could contest, but they have to hold out on a leadership test. There's so many variables. I think the Thalax will charge. Mechanicum turn 6 shooting phase, and the plan has changed ever so slightly. The Mechanicum are pinning all of their hopes on killing a couple of those TAC Marines and then getting a huge thrust to land themselves in the doorway to contest the objectives. Then, if the game ends, they will contest the objective. If it does not, we will get shot and charged by 3, possibly 4 units. So, massive gamble, but let's go on with the shooting, and we'll start with we'll do the 3 lightning guns, hitting on 3s into the TAC Marines. Well, that's a bad start straight away, and 2s and 6s. So 1 wound.
1 3-up armor save.
There it is. I think that's the end of the game. All right, let's do a massive thrust move. We need a 12 at least. Oh, that gets us an 8. We'll have a quick measure and we'll come back to you. Mechanicum turn 6 assault phase. The thrust move from the Thalax ended up 8 inches just next to the door frame and 4 inches away from the objective. So they cannot contest, which was really unfortunate. Then if we look at the combat over here between the Thalax and the TAC Marines wiped out the Thalax at initiative 4, and they just consolidated quite squarely within that cell. And now we're going to go on to random gain length to see if the death card can finish off the remaining 3 Thalax units. We require a 4+ for turn 7. Oh, and it is a 5, so we will go on to turn 7.
Death Guard turn 7 movement phase. Great that the game's continued on for us. It gives us a chance to wipe out those Thalax. Both tactical squads just consolidated around, ready to bring their bolters to bear against that Thalax. The Death Shroud shuffled ever so slightly, getting ready to do an assault. The Moritat detached from his destroyers and jumped a full 12 inch to bring his plasma pistols into range, and the destroyers just moved very sensibly 6 inches, not using their jump pack. This does mean we have to roll a dangerous, and we'll do it on camera as the Moritats rolled pretty badly so far. Dangerous? No, we're fine, thankfully. Death Guard turn 7 shooting, and we opened up with the destroyers. They both fired, they fired 2 missile launchers with rad missiles. One scattered slightly, 1 hit true, and luckily landed a single hit on each Thalax, which caused, and they all wound thanks to the Fleshbane. So we now have 3 saves on the Thalax.
All right, here we go. So they're AP3, so we need 6 ups. That is a cocked one. We will take that. Oh. Fail, fail, fail. So they have all lost a wound each, and they are down to toughness 4.
Next to fire, we have the Moritat. He is just in range of those Thalax, in range of 2. We're going to try chain firing the bolt with the plasma pistols again. So here we go. Firing 1 at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. That's great. And the second pistol. Okay, good start. Going well. Yeah. And last one. Whoa. There we go. 12 hits. So we have winning on 2s. There's no instant death, even with a toughness 4. It's only strength 7. Let me just get enough dice in my hand. So 12 dice. Winning on 2s. Oh, well, that's quite good. So that is 10 wounds against the Thalax. They do get a 5-up cover save due to intervening models, so they get to take that at least.
All right, so I'm just getting some dice together. 10, we need 6s. This might, 5s. It might finish the squad off. And then now we need 6s. Feel no pain. Oh, jeez Louise. All right, so 1 Thalax dead, 2 Thalax dead, 3 dead. And that is the Thalax wiped out. That is a massive win to the Death Guard. Ah, sad times for the Thalax. They lost, and the Death Guard retrieved their man.
They brought him back, probably not to a particularly nice fate. He might have wanted to stay with the Mechanicum, but they got their man.
They did indeed. Now, a lot of you might say, well, you know, it was a bit of a one-sided game, wasn't really fair, didn't really stack up, no HQ, no Warlord, no Force Org. But you know what? Sometimes it's just fun.
Yeah, I think the Death Guard in that time that were playing the mission. They weren't necessarily playing the Thalax. They weren't trying to beat the Thalax as a military force. They were playing the clock because, as we saw, it basically came down to those Death Shroud finally winning in combat and sweeping and pushing, being able to push down the corridor, and also us being able to have a 7th turn. If either both of those things, you know, if it ended a turn earlier and those Thalax had stayed still, would have been a completely different story. So I think it was very much the Death Guard were playing against the mission rather than the Thalax as a force. Yeah,
I think it was really cool. And, you know, the fact that, okay, the Thalax came on a bit piecemeal, but, you know, that's kind of the way that it was all designed, and I can naturally see that happening, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was great when all the doors opened at once.
Yeah.
Everything came out. That was really fun.
Someone hit a big red button and everyone went, ah, and then the stuff came out. There was just one thing we need to address very quickly, was just the way that we played the rad missiles. It wasn't correct, so we apologise for that. The wounds should have come off, all the wounds come off from the front, then they go, but we did them as the blast hit. But our misunderstanding of the rules there, sorry, wasn't major.
Just got slightly confused because it's only the models that get affected by the rad, etc., etc. But it didn't impact it because the plasma pistols that fired next would have wounded on 2s anyway. So no big deal.
So apologies about that. Please don't get upset. But I had a really fun time.
That was great. It's also quite fun playing to turn 7 or 8 even. You know, playing slightly longer missions, especially in Zone Mortalis, things can finish when you're just coming into sort of range of things.
You just spend so much time walking around.
Yeah, absolutely. And jump packs are not that safe, as we demonstrated.
They're not, but those destroyers did a fantastic job of checking all the rooms on the other side. So you can just imagine a Marine force sending their quickest troops in, checking all the doors, dealing with the enemy. The Terminators found their asset and then protected him while the rest of the force moved in. I mean, if that's not straight out of a storybook, I don't know what else.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think also the Death Shroud being the one to find the prisoner is particularly great because, again, story-wise, they're the ones who got sent to look after wayward or HQs that Mortarion thinks need a watchful eye. A watchful eye, either for good or bad.
I think it was really cool. Before we go, though, we need to say a massive thank you once again to Fantastic Pete, as he shall forever be known. He lent the channel his Death Guard army, and it is a fantastic force. So, Pete, thank you so much. Boris, final thought from you?
I can't roll 2-up armor saves in Zone Mortalis.
That's
apparently.
True.
I think I made more 3-ups than 2-ups. But it's so much fun. It was good to use. I think we used entirely different models as the last game.
Yeah.
It's great fun. There's such nice models, and it's excellent fun.
We've got some vehicles to showcase hopefully very soon as well, so we'll get a load of vehicles out for you as well. We was going to do that this evening, but the list didn't quite work out, so we just want to do something fun whilst we sort out the finer technicalities of it all.
Absolutely.
But it was cool. You can obviously follow the channel on Instagram. It is at the 30k channel. Boris?
Pack_paints.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.